Hey there guys, this is your host Richard with another marvelous video. The fourth season of The Boys has set the stage for an epic showdown waiting to happen between the anti-superhero team and the Seven. With the stakes higher than ever before, the titular group of Supe killers is assembled and the new plans are gonna face some stiff challenges. While Vort's Supe team, the Seven, led by the twisted Homelander, threatens to jeopardize the world order, some new Supes have also been introduced in the narrative to add to the chaos. In this video, we'll explore all the new Supes who have appeared so far in the first 3 episodes of Season 4 and let you in on everything there is to know about them. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Sister Sage. Sister Sage is beyond a doubt the most impactful Supe among the new ones who have been introduced in the ongoing Season 4 of The Boys. Her introduction is well planned, and it makes you think that Homelander has finally allowed his better judgment to prevail instead of being blinded by his arrogance. While dealing with the crisis around his tarnished image, ongoing murder trial, and antagonism among a significant part of the population, Homelander realizes that he needs someone wise and courageous enough to guide him going ahead. He knows that the people around him, such as Vought officials and members of the Seven, are simply yes-men, who are there just to make sure that they don't infuriate or offend Homelander. After Ashley, the acting CEO of Vought, mentions the need of recruiting new Supes for the Seven and shows Homelander a list of potential Supes including Sister Sage, her skills grab his attention. Later, he heads out to recruit her personally and brings her into the Seven after being convinced about her intelligence and wisdom. Sister Sage is cool and collected. Somehow, she knows how to make Homelander listen to her on most occasions. Her superpower is actually her brilliance, even though she has no noticeable physical powers. So far, we've seen her becoming an asset to Vought and Homelander, and her strategies are second to none. She's the one calling the shots, and even during her brief presence she's managed to rile up the conflict between the supporters of Homelander and Starlight. It's too early to say what her real intentions are, but so far it seems like all she wants is some recognition and appreciation for her brilliance. As long as Homelander lets his ego sit aside and obeys her instructions, he's gonna remain one step ahead of the boys in the show. Susan Hayward's played this role to perfection, and we're keen to find out how her role determines the narrative in the coming episodes.
Why don't you wait outside?
Zoe Newman. Zoe Newman is the daughter of the notorious Victoria Newman, and previously we've seen how Victoria injects Zoe with the Supe formula for her safekeeping. Finally, we get to witness her superpowers in the first episode of Season 4. It all happens when the boys plan a daring operation to replace Victoria Newman's eye drops with a special acid intended to burn her eyes and nullify her superpowers. Kimiko, Frenchie, and a couple of CIA agents infiltrate Victoria Newman's hotel room, but they're interrupted by Zoe, who walks in. The CIA agents try to act calm and composed in front of Zoe, but she launches a surprise attack to take down these guards instantly. She has 4 deadly tentacle-like appendages emerging from her mouth, and these seem to have a mind of their own. The tentacles are incredibly sharp and are capable of inflicting serious damage to individuals. She corners Frenchie, and Kimiko steps in to help, but Zoe rips off Kimiko's hands with these tentacles, and even someone with special superpowers like Kimiko is no match for her strength. As of now, Victoria Newman is carefully keeping the superpowers of her daughter under wraps, but it's clear that she can use Zoe against some of the powerful Supes as well if the need arises. We expect Zoe Newman to have a significant role in the upcoming episodes, especially because of how much importance she holds for Victoria. If Victoria Newman becomes the vice president and rises to a position of power, Zoe Newman can be used by the likes of Homelander or even the boys to manipulate her decisions. There's also a chance that Zoe Newman goes rogue because so far we've not seen much restraint from her when it comes to controlling her superpowers. All new Victoria Newman. Victoria Newman is not a new Supe by any means, and the fans of The Boys are already familiar with how she can explode people's heads at will. However, the ongoing 4th season of the show has introduced some incredible powers of Victoria that haven't been covered in the earlier seasons. We've seen her ability to manipulate blood, which allows her to pop heads like crushing watermelons, but what we get to see here in the show is how durable and well built her stature is. In the very first episode, Huey attempts to throw acid on her face after the attempt to replace her eye drops with acid fails. However, the strong acid has no effect on her skin, and it's no more than a splash of water on her face. It just burns a hole in her shirt, and she's almost playfully irritated by the juvenile attempt of Huey. When this fails, Butcher tries to shoot her in the head, but even a point-blank shot has no effect whatsoever. Victoria Newman shrugs off the attack like it's nothing, and she disregards any plans that the boys might have against her. Was she always so powerful? This is a debatable question till now because previously we've seen her wary of her powers. She was never confident of standing up to the powerful Supes like Homelander, but with her abundant powers on display, she might be near invincible. As of now, she doesn't need to fear Homelander, or anyone for that matter, and this makes her one of the most dangerous Supes because she's all set to assume power at the Oval Office. We're keen to find out if she did something to enhance her powers, and maybe the remaining episodes of Season 4 can offer some answers. Firecracker. Sometimes powerful propaganda can be more effective than random superpowers, and Firecracker proves the effectiveness of a good speech. She's the recent addition to the Seven, and she's been taken in on the advice of Sister Sage. Initially, Firecracker's shown as someone who gets in a fancy and provocative uniform and preaches various conspiracy theories to the hardliners. She has a cult following of sorts, and usually the people who appreciate Homelander and the Supes believe her blindly. She spews hate against Starlight and the liberals who support her, and no matter how outrageous her allegations are, she knows the art of making them realistic. When Sister Sage first interacts with her before recruiting her, Firecracker has to give a demonstration of her superpowers. All we see is a brief spark in her hands and a tiny puff of smoke, and we're assuming that she can create fire when this works properly. That being said, she's nowhere close to some of the fire-controlling Supes in the boys' universe, and Sage points out that Firecracker's superpowers are not particularly impressive. While fighting Frenchie, Mother's Milk, Kimiko, and Butcher, she fails to make a mark in combat and runs for her life when she's cornered. She lacks any significant physical abilities, and her major superpower remains her conspiracy theories. She's quite smart and knows that pleasing Homelander will take her a long way. Her past with Annie, aka Starlight, where Starlight spread rumors about her and jeopardized her career, adds the extra bit of hate for Annie, and it helps Homelander and his team. Her introduction to the Seven comes with its share of advantages, even though she lacks really impactful superpowers, and we're curious to find out how Sister Sage plans to use her in her plans ahead. Black Noir's replacement. It was quite shocking to see Black Noir in the trailer of Season 4 of The Boys, and finally, the mystery's been unraveled in the first 3 episodes. Black Noir had been killed brutally by Homelander, but Vought found it difficult to acknowledge the loss of such a prominent superhero to the public. Thus, it was planned that someone will cover up the absence by dressing up as Black Noir and wearing the familiar suit. The first 3 episodes of Season 4 make it clear that Homelander is under a lot of pressure. He's under trial for murder, and there's a significant public opinion against him, which means that the last thing that he'd want is the allegation of Black Noir's murder as well. An actor has been hired to pose as Black Noir in his stead. It's also been revealed that he's a Supe of some sort. In that case, the new Black Noir is not entirely a misfit among the Seven, although his actions provide a few laughs. Although he has significant strength and speed, the replacement of Black Noir fails to act like him. He keeps talking, even though Black Noir isn't supposed to speak, and he often gets on Homelander's nerves when he tries to understand the real Black Noir in order to play him better. He's also narcoleptic and falls asleep randomly, which can be a major side effect in future missions. As of now, he's obeyed Homelander and followed all that he's told, but we don't know how long he can keep up the charade. Splinter. The cast of Supernatural has made their presence felt in The Boys, and the latest addition to the list is Rob Benedict, who plays the role of Splinter, a new Supe introduced in Season 4. Splinter has the ability of splitting into multiple clones of himself, but his disturbing characteristic make him a questionable fellow. He happens to be a big fan of Starlight, and he's also one of her friends and colleagues. We first see him at the convention where Starlight's busy selling conspiracy theories to the crowd. When Frenchie, and Kimiko infiltrate the convention to take down Sister Sage, they're cornered by Firecracker and Splinter. Sage tells Firecracker to finish off the boys and see this as an audition to become a member of the Seven. The fight begins with the odds tilted against the boys because they have a tough time fighting the multiple clones of Splinter. The more they kill, the more he ends up creating, and it's almost like attempting to take down a never-ending army. Finally, Butcher manages to overpower him and ends up killing the original Splinter. This eliminates all the duplicates as well, and we even see a brief comical moment where one of Splinter's clones confesses his love for Firecracker before his death. This new Supe was probably introduced more for the laughs and the ick factor, and we think that the show killed him off a bit too soon. It would have been fun to witness more of this twisted duplicating Supe in action, but that's not to be. We'd love to hear from you about your thoughts on the new Supes, and also tell us which one among them is your favourite. Don't forget to write your potential predictions for the upcoming episodes in the comments below, and if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one, and be safe. Thanks everyone.